The Nebraska Farm Bureau has been involved in the conversations surrounding biofuels for several decades. Those conversations now have shifted more so away from biofuels that are put in automobiles and cars and trucks and tractors, and has shifted now toward the airline industry into a product that's called sustainable aviation fuel. Unlike ethanol and biodiesel that are just added to traditional fuel, sustainable aviation fuel is a one-to-one replacement, so it has the potential to greatly impact and grow Nebraska's ethanol and biofuels industry generally. Fuel was added to the fire recently when the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, and a lot of the green incentives that were thrown into that piece of legislation, including a number of tax credits that focused on the development not only of sustainable aviation fuel, but other sustainable fuels. So ultimately, Nebraska Farm Bureau members need to be involved in this conversation because we don't have a lot of policy surrounding a lot of these different tax incentives and how we want these different tax incentives to work. As members think about policy development this year surrounding sustainable aviation fuel, here are some questions we want Farm Bureau members to think about. Should Nebraska Farm Bureau have a policy favoring specific feedstocks based on sustainable aviation fuel production capability? Number 2, should Nebraska Farm Bureau support only allowing domestically produced sustainable aviation fuel feedstocks being eligible for state and federal tax incentives? Number 3, should Nebraska Farm Bureau push for changes to the modeling used to create the tax incentives? Number 4, given that only a few sustainable aviation plants currently exist, should we support extending any of the federal tax credits available for sustainable aviation fuel, such as the 45Z tax credit?